Zombie or undead is always an interesting topic, often exploited not only in movies, but also in other forms of entertainment such as games or storybooks. And what could be better than a series of movies adapted from games on this topic? If you already know the movies Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, with good laughs, or a gentle love story from Warm Bodies, why not join us in the horror and action series about the zombies that have left many marks throughout the past decade's journey, Resident Evil. This is a video that summarizes the entire evolution of the 6 Resident Evil movies. Please take the time to watch the movie to get an extremely thrilling and exhilarating experience when watching this zombie action movie. Let's start together. Before getting into the main events of Season 1, we will go through each milestone and explain the most essential information about the Umbrella Corporation, the origin of the pandemic. Opening the series with the first season set in the 21st century, the audience immediately had the necessary information about Umbrella, the largest trading group specializing in providing computer technology and medical products. However, few people know that the real profits of this corporation come from military technology, from genetic testing and biological weapons. Umbrella was founded and built by Professor James Marcus and descendants of the British royal family. James Marcus has a daughter, Alicia, who suffers from senility. The disease makes people look much older than they really are. With an urgent desire to cure his daughter, James invented the T-virus, a virus that can repair damaged cells in the human body. It quickly worked on Alicia, as she was able to successfully combine with it and return to normal life. However, the T-virus had a side effect that James and Umbrella did not expect, which was to revive the dead. Realizing the potential danger of this drug, James intends to discontinue production and supply. But Dr. Alexander Isaacs opposed this, seeing the potential of the T-virus as a marketable biological weapon. To ensure the virus continued to grow, Isaacs asked Albert Wesker to assassinate Marcus. Wesker killed Marcus by putting a plastic bag over his head and suffocating him. Later, Isaacs inherited half of Umbrella Corporation. With that, he created an intelligent computer processor called the Red Queen to help control Umbrella. When he took over, Isaacs and Umbrella's senior leadership had a meeting about the future of humanity. He believes that if the current situation continues, the Earth will gradually come to an end because of uncontrolled population growth, global warming, and future hunger. Isaacs asserted, instead of sitting still and suffering like that, let's create an incident that kills all of humanity, and only keeps the necessary natural resources. And the T-virus is the most suitable weapon for this apocalyptic campaign. After that, he and all the senior leaders of Umbrella will proceed to hibernation, waiting for the master plan to be completed. 17 months later, the T-virus is being mass-produced in the Hive laboratory, located deep underground. Then someone deliberately let the T-virus break and spread in the air, causing the entire staff who did not know about this corporation's work to fall into a state of panic, and had to run away. To evacuate, the series' heroine, Alice, quickly appeared. Alice wakes up in an unknown place, losing all awareness and memory of everything that happened. At this moment, she encounters Matthew Addison, an environmentalist disguised as a police officer. With that, Umbrella's task force suddenly appeared and led Alice with them down to the Hive, the corporation's secret underground research facility. This group of operations is tasked with going down there to power off the Red Queen, the sublime artificial intelligence in charge of the management of the Hive. After it locked all the staff down here so they were killed. On the way by train, the group accidentally meets Spence, who also suffers from memory loss like Alice, and is also the one who arranged a fake marriage with her, in order to serve the corporation. When moving down the base, all movements of the group are closely monitored by the Red Queen, thereby causing countless dangers to the group. In the end, almost all of them died. That's also when they realized that the people trapped under the Hive and inhaled the T-virus had not only died, but had turned into bloodthirsty zombies. When the team was spreading out to find out, Matt and Alice met in a laboratory. Matt has revealed that he and his sister, Lisa, are actually tasked with infiltrating the inside to investigate any dirty secret information about this corporation. Lisa plans to secretly bring a sample of the bacteria Umbrella is studying to expose the corporation's nefarious deeds. And Alice is the spy of the plan. Struggling forever without finding a way out, Alice's group is forced to restart the Red Queen to find the answer to everything. Through its explanation, the team learned that the T-virus was an advanced medical invention, and after it was intentionally spread through the air, the Red Queen was responsible for keeping it from spreading up to the ground. And that's also the reason it locked the entire staff underneath the hive to prevent this. After losing all members of the agent team to Zombie, Alice, Matt and Spence continue to find a way to escape. At the same time, Alice gradually regains her memory and learns that there is an antidote to the T-virus. That's when Spence also remembered everything, that he was the one who trapped Alice, causing Lisa and Alice's exchange plan to fail. This is the same person who intentionally released the T-virus into the air in the hive's laboratory. After the confrontation with Spence, Alice, Matt and Rain accept to let him escape with the antibacterial. However, luck did not smile on this bad guy when he encountered Umbrella's first experiment, directly injecting the virus into people, and was eaten by it. At this time, Rain has also been transformed due to the bite wound when fighting the zombie before. But she also quickly received bullets and died. At the final encounter with the monster, Alice and Matt were lucky to survive. It seemed to have succeeded, obtaining a sample of the T-virus to expose Umbrella. Then Matt now struggled in pain with the monster's scratch. The hive doctors quickly appeared and separated the two. Matt was dragged out for a new project, and Alice was injected with the T-virus for the Project Alice experiment. The end of the first season of the series is the scene where Alice wakes up in the wilderness of Raccoon City, now engulfed in ruins. Season 2, called Resident Evil Apocalypse, is still set around Raccoon City, where the Umbrella Corporation's headquarters is located. And there was an explanation for the ruin of Raccoon City at the end of Season 1. In contrast to the peaceful and green landscape above ground, below the ground of Raccoon City, there are still Umbrella's relentless, toxic experiments, and led to widespread contagion to the inhabitants of the city by the nuclear leak. For that reason, the staff of this foundation is responsible for transporting and evacuating all senior members of the corporation. Because they know that Raccoon City sooner or later will not be able to cope with the increasing number of zombies. This group of people includes Dr. Charles Ashford, who invented the T-virus and its antibacterial. The entire Umbrella high-ranking officials moved, leaving and forcing countless people to scream behind the separating gate. From here, a group of refugees is formed including Jill Valentine, one of the best police agents, police officer Peyton Wells and broadcaster Terry Morales. Meanwhile, Dr. Charles adamantly refuses to go without his daughter Angela, who went missing in a car accident on her way to her father. Dr. Charles searched every corner and couldn't find his daughter, so he contacted and talked to Alice and Jill's team, and Umbrella's abandoned group of agents. He says that if they help him find his daughter, they will know a safe way out of Raccoon City. Jill's group has now taken refuge in a church, where they are surrounded by not only normal zombies, but also a type of monster from Umbrella's new experiment. They are more resilient and stronger. And Jill's group certainly wouldn't have been able to escape this place without the help of Alice, who showed up in time. But at this time, the Nemesis program had been successfully activated by the Foundation and launched into battle. This terrorist, after taking down the Foundation's best task force, encountered Alice's group, and was activated to the maximum level to fight the most important target, the Alice Project. At the same time, after separating from Alice, Peyton died from turning into a zombie. Jill and Terry met LJ and quickly moved to a school. There Jill met and rescued Dr. Charles's daughter Angela, and reunited with Alice and met the last surviving member of the task force, Carlos Oliveira. LJ is once again lucky to be rescued by Carlos. Meanwhile, broadcaster Terry is ironically bitten to death by a group of school zombies. While talking to Angela, Jill and Alice learned that she was also infected with the T-virus. But Angela's case is similar to Alice's when she successfully combined her cells with this virus. The girl was injected with the T-virus and antiretroviral at the same time to balance the amount of cells in her body. From there, this combination can help her get rid of the disease and walk like a normal person, not turning into a zombie. When the group reached the helicopter site to prepare to leave, Alice was controlled by the Foundation and began confronting Nemesis, in order to find out who was superior between the two experiments. Threatened with the death of Dr. Charles, Alice has no choice but to accept the challenge. The battle is tense, and as Alice prepares to finish off Nemesis, she realizes the terrorist is in fact Matt, the friend she was separated from at the end of Season 1. Alice decided not to kill her friend, and Matt, now in Nemesis form, regained his memories and helped Alice's group to destroy Umbrella's faction, and let the group escape by helicopter. A devastating explosion has descended to destroy Raccoon City. Its aftershock causes Alice's group's helicopter to crash into a river. When Dr. Isaacs, who was in charge of the Hive's research, arrived, only Alice's corpse remained. And he brought her back to continue the experiment. After reincarnating Alice, Dr. Isaacs seemed to be able to control her. Surprisingly, Alice still remembers everything. Her power has now been pushed to extremely high levels, even being able to control everything around her. At the end of the second season, Alice reunites with the remaining group of survivors including Jill, Carlos, LJ and Angela. Then they left together in imminent danger, because Dr. Isaacs was able to keep a close eye on her whereabouts. Season 3 of the series is Resident Evil: Extinction. Things have changed dramatically. The opening of the film is Alice's narration about the raging of the zombie pandemic to not only Raccoon City or America but the whole world. Season 3 still follows Alice's journey and is set on the highway. Alice was riding a motorcycle through the burning desert. A convoy of 5 large vehicles is also surviving together day by day. Notably, this group has the appearance of Carlos and LJ, who escaped with Alice at the end of Season 2. This group was led by Claire Redfield. An important character will appear in the final film. Deep underground of this city took place the Umbrella Board meeting. In it were a copy of Dr. Isaacs and Albert Wesker, who now took control of the entire corporation. After obtaining a sample of Alice's blood, Isaac's clone proceeded to clone Project Alice, with the aim of finding someone with the same powers as her, but failed. So he turned to using that blood sample to create an antibacterial that could help zombies gain intelligence like a normal person. While on the move, even though Alice heard the radio to find survivors, she still did not speak, because she was on her way to find a place where she could live separately. Here, her overwhelming strength will not affect others. However, things didn't go as planned. Alice had to use her superpowers gained from the experiment to save Claire's guild. At that time, this group of people was surrounded by terrible bloodthirsty zombie crows. After joining Claire's group and discussing it, they decided to evacuate to Alaska. The place is said to not have the infection of zombie. When the party stops on the road, they must confront a horde of brain-enhanced zombies, dropped by Dr. Isaacs, after he tracks down Alice. Just like the previous fight with the crows. This time, Claire's group also lost a lot of people. But Alice also took the opportunity to let a zombie grab the hand of Dr. Isaacs before he could escape. When he returned to base to inject antiretroviral extracts from Alice's blood, Isaacs not only did not return to normal, but also became a mutant zombie. At the same time, Alice and Carlos discuss and decide that the group can successfully get the helicopter to go to Alaska. Unfortunately, Carlos was forced to trade himself. His sacrifice helped Claire get the helicopter to leave. As for Alice, she decided to stay to deal with the Isaacs mess. After a long battle with the clone, Season 3 ends with our heroine's victory. We finally see Alice and her clone combine to clone herself. So what does she do that for? The answer is right in the next section. Resident Evil: Afterlife. The 4th season of the series is set in Japan, where an Umbrella Corporation headquarters is run by Wesker. It's been 4 years since the events of Season 3. The zombie epidemic is now almost uncontrollable, and half of the world's population has been turned into bloodthirsty monsters. Thoughts would be protected when hiding deep underground. However, Umbrella's Japan headquarters was once again in danger, when Alice's clones arrived and destroyed them all, determined to kill the oligarch Wesker. However, this guy quickly destroyed the entire headquarters and climbed into a helicopter to escape. Here, he met the original Alice. He quickly injected the substance to neutralize the T-virus in Alice's body, which means that she would lose all her powers. A scuffle between the two sides took place. The plane lost its direction and plunged straight down the cliff. Alice was lucky to be alive among the ruins. 6 months after the plane crash, Alice gets a plane to move to the city of Arcadia in the state of Alaska. The place that is said to be absolutely safe from disease transmission, has all the necessities and shelter, and is also the place where Claire's group at the end of Season 3 got on a helicopter to evacuate. When Alice arrived here, there was no sign of Claire's group or any sign of life. Lux smiled when Alice finally met Claire, but Claire was now amnesiac. After drifting through Vancouver, Seattle or San Francisco on an old plane, the two went to Los Angeles together. Like other places, Hollywood is now filled with zombies, not only ordinary zombies but also more advanced types. Here, Alice and Claire had the opportunity to meet a group of lucky survivors, who are temporarily staying in a prison. Two girls get to know Luther West and others. After talking, they learn that Arcadia, which is said to be free of disease transmission and well-stocked with food and drink, is in fact a ship of the Umbrella Corporation. It's collecting survivors, not a city in Alaska. While struggling to think of a way out of the prison to Arcadia, Alice accidentally encountered and talked to a security guard who was accidentally locked up by prisoners named Chris Redfield. This person knows the way out and also happens to be Claire's brother. Although the rest of them did not want to cooperate because they thought Chris was a dangerous person. But they were forced to do it because the zombies were now cunning. They found their way underground to crawl into the prison. Chris suggests that, to successfully escape among the hungry zombies out there, they need to equip an army tank, and need to get the weapons stored in the basement of the prison. When Alice and Chris successfully obtained the weapon, the boss of the zombie horde was about to knock down the prison door. However, another surprise came to these people, when a guy in the group betrayed and stole Alice's plane to fly to Arcadia. After shooting each other, a fierce battle with the zombies surrounding the prison, then blow up the body of the longest living boss on Earth. Alice's party goes through an existing tunnel that the zombies have dug to escape. Lost together at the last minute, but Luther survived, promising to return for the next season. The last 3 people left, Alice, Claire, and Chris, moved to Arcadia together. On this ship, they discovered that this was not a shelter at all, but a place where Umbrella kept countless people for them to experiment. Alice once again encounters Wesker, who has been transformed by using the T-virus to regenerate after the plane crash. A battle between predator and prey took place. But unfortunately, when everyone was sure that Wesker this time was really destroyed at the hands of the Redfield brothers, he once again revived and used the helicopter to escape, but in the end the helicopter was also blown up by the bomb. And in the end, when the 3 people seemed to have freed everyone who was locked up, and safe on the ship. At this time, a series of Umbrella fighter plane came to surround them. End of Season 4. The 5th movie with the name Resident Evil, Retribution. Taking place right after the events left open at the end of Part 4. With the opening scene as the battle between Umbrella and Alice and the people on the ship. In this movie a new but old character has reappeared, Jill Valentine. However, she has been brainwashed by the Foundation and works under Umbrella's command. After the battle, Alice is once again captured and questioned by Jill. But luck came when she was freed by Wesker's trusted subordinate, Ada Wong. Wesker explains to Alice that humanity is currently on the verge of decay and needs Alice's help. Along with the information that Alice is currently at Umbrella's headquarters, located 90 meters underground in northern Russia. Here, the Foundation built simulation rooms with detailed images of cities around the world with the main purpose of allowing Umbrella to expand the corporation's virus testing. Umbrella recreates the scene where the outbreak is a specific location and for other governments to find solutions. And then there's the virus trade. This is an arms race, nothing more and nothing less under the guise of biological experiments, to bring huge profits to Umbrella. Under the direction of Wesker, a rescue team is sent to rescue Alice and Ada Wong, including Luther West, who was lucky to escape death at the end of Season 4. The party quickly defeats Umbrella's mercenaries, as soon as they enter the base. As for Alice and Ada on the other front, it was relatively difficult to reunite with not one but 2 giant bosses that were sent to the battle, under the activation of the Red Queen. Say no exaggeration, when perhaps this 5th film is full of eye-catching battles, across continents. When the stupid Russian zombies also went out to welcome the rescue team. Along the way, Alice and Ada arrive at the next simulator division, Raccoon City. Here, she learns more about what remains of her clones are used by Umbrella. Not only Alice's clones, but also Rain's, Carlos's, who died in previous seasons, were cloned and implanted with minimal brain activity to serve the simulation subdivisions. After a sudden shootout with Jill's army, Alice led her cloned child Becky to escape. And Ada was captured by the organization. Alice soon went to Moscow to explain to the men who were suffering with not only Russian zombies but also another monster. The party quickly dealt with the persistent zombies, and moved to a place to get to the surface. But at the last minute, the group once again had to confront Jill's army. And Alice's fake daughter was taken away by the monster. Alice decides to go rescue her, and the rest try to hold back Umbrella's soldiers. While Alice did not take too long to defeat the monster, the men's team stayed to fight. In the end only 2 people were left, Luther and Leon. By the time the headquarters self-destructed, a huge explosion occurred that sent all 4 people, Alice, Becky, Luther and Leon, straight to the surface. However, it did not end there, when Jill, the clone of Rain and Ada, also emerged from the ground. The final fight that took place was split into 2 pairs, Alice versus Valentine. Luther as Leon in a duel with Rain. Alice's faction showed its weakness when both she and Luther and Leon were defeated. But Alice quickly killed the brainwashing spider attached to Jill's body, helping her return to normal. Sadly, Luther was killed by Rain. Alice now knows that she cannot defeat Rain with her bare hands or guns. Because the T-virus injected into Rain made her extremely strong, and even had a self-healing mode. So Alice asked for help from the Russian zombies below the ice to drag Rain down to join them. The last 5 survivors, Alice, Becky, Jill, Ada and Leon, moved to the last line of defense, Washington, D.C., to meet Wesker. There he returned the T-virus into Alice's body so that she could fight one last time against the impending destruction. But it's all a scam when Wesker's real purpose is to destroy all the last survivors, and proceed to purify the Earth's surface. So how are things really? Let's find the answer in the final season. Resident Evil, the final chapter. The final chapter of the series is set in the time that has passed 10 years since the first infection. The film opens with Alice waking up after being betrayed by Wesker. At the end of Season 5, Alice was once again injected with the T-virus by Wesker, which means she is now under the supervision of the Red Queen. While scouting around, Alice had the opportunity to meet Umbrella's intelligent computer again with the notice that, currently on the surface of the Earth there are only more than 4,000 living things left, but all will soon be annihilated within 48 hours. The only way to prevent this from happening is for Alice to return to the hive to release an antidote to the T-virus, which spreads through the air, which can kill any organism infected with the T-virus. Along the way, Alice unfortunately once again encounters Dr. Isaacs, the seemingly original version. After successfully escaping from him, Alice continues to head straight for the hive, and how lucky she is to be reunited with Claire, after the two were separated in the battle on the ship at the end of Season 4. Claire also was taken to the hive, but she was lucky to be rescued. To prevent Isaacs from getting closer and closer to the hive, Alice and Claire's group plan to block his tank's path, as well as destroy the hungry zombies that are following. At the building, they successfully stopped the first attack, but realized that there were still 2 swarms of zombies headed straight for him. Alice and the survivors decided to move to the hive as quickly as possible. On the way, and even when they arrived, they encountered countless terrible obstacles and inevitably had to die one after another. So in the end only Alice, Claire and Claire's lover were left alive. But this guy is actually Umbrella's spy installed. When Alice was close to reaching the hive, Wesker couldn't wait any longer and decided to wake up the real Dr. Isaacs. Indeed, there are so many copies that I really don't know how to tell them apart. Especially when every clone thinks he's unique and fights hard. And surprisingly, our heroine throughout the 6 movies is actually a clone created 10 years ago of Alicia Marcus, daughter of Umbrella founder James Marcus. And thanks to the appearance of Alicia at the last minute, Wesker was officially said goodbye to the audience after countless deaths and rebirths without end. As for Isaacs, after performing an epic duel with Alice and Claire, then fortunately, recreated, at the last moments. He was killed by his own clone at the last minute. From there closed the lofty Apocalypse dream. And also in the last seconds, the entire Umbrella Corporation was blown up. And Alice successfully released the antidote to the T-virus and let it spread through the air. This antidote also helped destroy all the T-virus in Alice's body, helping her to return to normal. Along with that, Alice was given all of her memories from childhood to adulthood by Alicia, making Alice a real person now, not just a clone. And Alice's final mission is to continue the path of bringing this antidote to all over the world, bringing the Earth back to the beginning. And that's all the story development of the 6 Resident Evil movies from our point of view. It must be admitted that, even without top-notch effects or tricky parts, Resident Evil still closes to the satisfaction of those who have watched the movie for all these years. With action scenes that have eyes and ears, along with a story with depth and connection. To comment in the most overall and objective way, Resident Evil definitely deserves to be one of the best movie adaptations of games, and also one of the best movies of the zombie theme. For now, thank you all for watching this video and see you in the next videos. Goodbye and see you again.